notice, as of November, SNAP benefits will not be loaded.
I don't know what we're supposed to eat next week. We're just asking for help, that's all.
State agencies across the country are warning that November SNAP benefits will not be loaded.
Families are running out of food as the shutdown enters day 23.
Shutdowns are terrible and families will suffer. We take responsibility seriously, but it is one of the few leverage times we have. Families will suffer leverage times we have.
Lines stretch around the block here as the National Guard delivers supplies.
Across Pennsylvania, families stare at nearly empty refrigerators.
In Alabama, neighbors gather with signs pleading for food assistance.
A Georgia couple sorts bills beside an empty pantry. Online, the question spreads, what now? Shoppers in grocery aisles compare notes while national networks confirm the halt. 42 million Americans affected.
Long lines tonight as National Guard trucks arrive to support food distribution.
Mitchell, Williams, Harrison, and 6 others took foreign money blocking reopening. Schumer keeps Democrats afraid.
Families will suffer leverage times we have.
This shutdown is crushing families, and we have almost nothing left in the pantry.
It's day 23. Tomorrow, 500,000 federal workers miss their first full paycheck. But while Democrats play games with American families, breaking news just hit. President Trump revealed an anonymous billionaire patriot stepped up with a $130 million check for our troops. That's right. While Democrats voted down emergency pay for essential workers today, calling it a political gimmick, one American wrote a massive check to make sure our military gets paid. This unnamed hero did what Congress wouldn't. But here's what makes this even more outrageous. Democrats had multiple chances to end this today. They said no every single time. Well, 500,000 Americans wonder how they'll survive without paychecks. I'm reminded of someone who knows about real survival. I'm talking about Chuck Norris. At 84 years old, he's got more energy than most people half his age. You know why? Because unlike the Democrats holding America hostage, Chuck takes action. He discovered 3 simple things that sabotage our bodies as we age, and he fixed them. And now he's stronger than ever, works out longer, and still has energy for his grandkids. His wife started doing it too. She feels 10 years younger, she says. You want to know his secret? While Congress plays games with your livelihood? Go to chuckdefense.com/next or just click the link down below. At least someone's fighting for your health, and we thank Chuck Norris for sponsoring the program. So this is a lot of action at the White House today. President Trump had a big announcement. Pretty much like the whole cabinet was there. The press secretary holding a press briefing. Our cameras were there. This is the moment, though, when the president was talking about the $130 million check officially sent in now.
And that's going to. And a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military, because I love the military and I love the country. And any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million.
Can you share who that is?
I would love to tell you. He doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth. But he gave us a check for $130 million.
And that's going to go to
which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And it's going to go to the military, yeah.
And what's your message?
And a friend of mine.
Absolutely remarkable. Sarah Rose writes, this man is a bona fide comedian. They suffer TDS, which I think is going to go down as an official condition by doctors. I think they get paid extra money if they handle it because it's more difficult to handle than normal mental disease. President Trump weighing in.
But you know what? They're really, they say deranged. They suffer. I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome, which I think is going down now as an official condition by the doctors. I think they get paid extra money if they handle it because it's more difficult to handle than a normal mental disease. But you know what? They really should approve an extension, get the country back to work, get the people paid. They're
basically saying that all the Democrats who refuse to open the country, open the government, are suffering from severe TDS. He says the Democrats have gone crazy.
I think the Democrats have gone totally crazy. And you don't know what they're going to do because they don't care about the people. I really think they have no leadership. They have a lot of very low IQ people. Jasmine Crockett is a low IQ person. A lot of them are. I don't want to insult too many of them, but a lot of them are. They have no rudder. I don't think they know what they're doing right now. They've never done this before. They always agreed to go and, called an extension. let's do an extension and talk. Even today, look at what happened today. They don't want to pay the people that have worked. And, this was supposed to be this was a test. And they wouldn't pay the people that have been working. They said, no, we don't want to pay them. This is all the Democrats. Now, all we need is 5 Democrats. And I know a lot of Democrats that are saying they're more than 5. Probably not that many more than 5, but they're more than 5. And all we need is like 5 Democrat votes so we open our country again. Sad, though, we have the greatest economy in our history. We have the highest stock market. All these things are rocking. We will have by the end of my first year more than $20 trillion of investment. The all-time record is $3 trillion. I think it's China. We're going to have $20 or $21 trillion. We've never had anything like it coming in because of tariffs. The money pouring into our country, the plants that are opening, AI, automobiles, everything. And the Democrats want to close our country. They're really, they say deranged. They suffer. I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome, which I think is going down now as an official condition by the doctors.
Oh, yeah, it is an official condition. Stephen Miller at the same meeting talking about the Democrats shutting down the government.
We were facing. Let me just say, Mr. President, that this country was going to die without you. This country was going to actually die without you. That's what we were facing in 2024. We've been invaded for 4 years. Our communities were sinking. Our public safety had gone to zero. Cartels were running entire communities. Sex trafficking, child trafficking, labor trafficking was out of control. Overdoses were out of control. The cartels were claiming more and more territory. City services were buckling. This was a country on the verge of dying. And you alone saved it. And when you stepped forward originally in 2016, you started the movement to make America great again. And that means make America great again in every way. And that means safety and prosperity and peace and freedom from cartels and crime and gangs. And your vision and your leadership in declaring war on the drug cartels is the single most successful public safety initiative in American history. And I need the media to understand what President Trump has done. People have been talking about drug cartels for longer than I've been alive. And everyone has just taken for granted that they can't be touched or stopped. They're too big, they're too powerful, they're too evil, they're too murderous. They can operate with impunity. And in just 9 months, President Trump is the only American leader, not just in our lifetimes, but ever, to actually take the fight to the drug cartels, to actually seek their eradication. And it is happening. And so while the Democrats are shutting the government down and fighting for free health care for illegal aliens, look at what President Trump has assembled here. He's assembled a team under his vision, direction, and leadership that is saving hundreds of thousands of lives. Hundreds of thousands of lives. And only President Trump could have done this. And I will say one last thing, which is that his courage has been an inspiration to everyone else in this room. There are people in this room, I'm looking at, for example, at Todd Lyons, who have been relentlessly doxxed and harassed and threatened. But when they see President Trump's courage, what he's been through for 10 years to save America, when they came after his family, his businesses, his safety, his freedom, everyone at this table knows we can give whatever it takes to get the mission done. So President Trump, thank you for your leadership, your boldness, your courage, and your vision. We're honored to serve underneath you.
Absolutely. Amazing words there from Stephen Miller. After voting against a bill that would have paid essential federal workers, Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester made the false claim that Democrats want to reopen the government. If that were true, they would have done it by now. Democrats have now had 12 chances to reopen.
Be clear.
Well, and Senator, the Senate voted today to take up a bill to pay, quote, essential government workers during the shutdown. If I'm reading correctly, you voted against that measure. Why did you vote against that measure?
So just to be clear, that bill was one that would pick winners or losers. It would have, instead of Elon Musk picking the winners and losers, it's Russ Vought from OMB picking the winners and losers. And we as Democrats are supporting people no matter where you are across the country and saying we want to open the government and restore your health care.
And Senator, I know you have to get to a vote, but I think a lot of Americans might be watching 23 days in. And yes, there are priorities on a lot of sides, but some are looking at this and saying this is also a whole lot of politics. How long are you prepared to hold out here?
Just to be clear, even for me, when I came into politics, I came into the House, I had never run for anything in my life. And I ran because I saw a dad and 3.
Well, and Senator, the Senate voted today to take up.
Yeah, no answer from that. They're going to inflict maximum pain. Here is the press secretary discussing the devastating effects of the shutdown. More than 500,000 civilian federal workers will miss a full paycheck tomorrow.
We are now on day 23 of the Democrat government shutdown. Senate Democrats have voted 12 separate times now to keep the government closed. Innocent Americans are suffering every day as a result. More than 500,000 civilian federal employees will miss a full paycheck tomorrow. Thousands of small business loans are going unapproved each month. This means almost $4 billion in capital is being withheld from small businesses across the country. The Democrat shutdown is also causing severe impacts at airports across the country. In one single day this week, the FAA had to issue ground stops impacting flights at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport and Hobby Airport. 13,000 air traffic controllers who ensure that we all fly safely are continuing to work without pay. This is egregious and truly sad. Some of them are reportedly being forced to turn to driving for Uber and taking on other second jobs to make ends meet as the Democrats continue to shut down the government. Pilots are calling on Democrats to end this dangerous political game. The president of the Southwest Airlines Pilot Association called for the clean continuing resolution to be passed, saying, quote, "Our air traffic controllers and the broader air traffic system are already operating under immense pressure. A government shutdown only compounds that stress and threatens the efficiency of our skies." The Airline Pilots Association International, which represents more than 80,000 pilots, is sounding the alarm as well. They said this shutdown is undermining our system's safety. Resources are stretched thin, negotiations are delayed, and strain grows daily. With the Thanksgiving holiday approaching, we are nearing the busiest travel period of the entire year, when millions of Americans will go to airports to spend time with their loved ones. Let us be very clear from the White House today. If the Democrats continue to keep the government closed, we fear there will be significant flight delays, disruptions, and cancellations in major airports across the country this holiday season. If Democrats continue to shut down the government, they will also be shutting down American air travel. The White House is in constant communication with the air traffic controllers, with the airline associations, and with them, we urge Democrats to please pass the continuing resolution so we can just end this madness and this chaos and reopen the government.
They don't care. They're going to continue to inflict maximum pain on the American people. Just wait till the SNAP benefits dry up. She says Democrats are solely responsible for this. Why are they doing it?
Some of Democrats are solely responsible for all of this unnecessary pain. Why are they doing it? To give taxpayer-funded health care benefits to illegal aliens, some of whom are violent criminals. During the 4 years of Joe Biden's administration, the Democrats forced Border Patrol to admit illegal aliens into our country with no legal status and minimal screening. A significant number of these individuals are the worst of the worst criminals: rapists, pedophiles, murderers, and even members of the terrorist watch list. Despite having no legal status, paroled aliens were able to file for work authorization, receive Social Security numbers, and access other benefits like Medicaid that are meant for Americans. Since I've found many in this room to repeatedly deny the reality that Democrats gave Medicaid benefits to illegals, and they continue to seek to do just that, I've brought a few verified examples for you today. These are examples of some of the illegals who received Medicaid benefits under President Biden's leadership, and this is what Democrats are wanting to do. This is why they are continuing to keep the government closed. An illegal alien from Laos was arrested for murder, robbery, and felony possession of a firearm. An illegal alien from Guatemala who was arrested for rape and burglary. An illegal alien from El Salvador who was arrested for strangulation, DUI, and burglary. An illegal alien from Mexico who was arrested for attempted murder. The Democrats' open border policies allowed these threats into our country, and then they provided them with free health care. The president and the Republicans, through the One Big Beautiful Bill, implemented a common sense reform to end this fraudulent scheme. But that's why the Democrats are continuing to shut down the federal government. They are trying to reverse this and restore taxpayer-funded health care for illegal aliens like these. Democrats are
freaking disgusting. She says, to point out the irony, Democrats holding the government and the American public hostage over a healthcare system they created, they caused. Now they want to shut down government to fix it. We need to open the government. Cory Booker calling on Trump to release SNAP funds that he keeps voting against.
We're going to stop. So stop scrolling because this will shock you. Right now, the Trump administration has sent out notices to every single state, including New Jersey, that they are going to stop paying SNAP payments. Now look, they have billions of dollars at their behest to pay SNAP, but they're saying that they don't. So let's talk truth. SNAP is a lifeline for 42 million Americans, disproportionately children, to pay for food assistance for them. In my state, over 850,000 people rely on SNAP payments. Donald Trump is withholding the money because he wants to inflict maximum pain on Americans to hope it helps him politically. Well, this isn't about politics. This is about people. This is urgent. So please stand with me to make sure that Donald Trump releases the money to pay for children, for vulnerable people, for our neighbors to eat. Stop spreading lies about what you can't do and do what you must do. This is about who we are as a people and what we stand for.
Shut up, man. Just go and vote and get the government open, man. Dude. I can't. Senate Majority Leader Thune says Ron Johnson offering a counterproposal to vote today on paying essential workers. They're calling it a political gimmick.
Joining us now is Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Do you think there are 5 Democrats willing to vote?
Hope so. We'll find out soon enough. I think this vote today is a really challenging one for the Democrats. It's very hard to defend voting against. Ron Johnson is offering a counterproposal, Dana, that is, as was pointed out, would pay everybody who's working. So any what they call accepted employees, anybody who's currently working and not getting paid would get paid under this proposal. The Democrats are going to try and counter it with a political gimmick, which would pay federal employees once, but then continue the shutdown. They're trying to have it both ways. I mean, this is all about politics for them. If they open up the government, their left-wing base goes nuts. If they don't vote for Ron Johnson or something else, then a lot of the federal employees are going to be without pay. And you got a whole lot of other programs out there, including the SNAP program that's available to people who really need food assistance in this country is going to go away here soon too. So we're getting to where the consequences of this are very real. The Democrats continue to play political games. They are afraid, just absolutely, desperately afraid of their base, and that's why we're in the situation we're in. So
they're afraid of their base. Speaker Johnson said the quiet part out loud. She said the quiet part out loud. She admitted that they have chosen to shut the government down to use people as leverage.
And many other nefarious. Well, I'm one that really believed that after the Hate America rally on Saturday, that's what we called it, because it was, funded by George Soros and co-sponsored by the Communist Party of the USA and many other nefarious groups. But we really thought that after that display, that Chuck Schumer would come to his senses. Remember, he's been in Congress for 44 years, and every year until now, he has said, and he even said this year, as recently as March, that shutting the government down would cause great pain to the American people, and it could never be done, should never be done. Well, he changed his tune because he's trying to appeal to that radical leftist base in the party because he's terrified. Because the last time he did the right thing, when he voted for this identical CR back in March, he took a lot of heat. He's unwilling to do that again because he's afraid he's going to receive a challenge from one of the Marxist leftists in New York, or maybe AOC. So that's really the sum total of it. Yesterday, Joe, we're losing heart a little bit, because yesterday, the second-ranked Democrat in the House, Whip Clark, Katherine Clark, was on an interview that you probably saw a clip of because it's gone around the world, and she said the quiet part out loud. She said, we know that families are going to suffer because of this shutdown, but, she said, this is one of the few leverage times we have. She admitted that they have chosen to shut the government down to use the people as leverage, and real people are being harmed because of it.
It's disgusting. They do not care about who is affected. Here's Secretary Rollins on day 23.
The government. We are on day 23 of the Schumer shutdown. The Senate has now voted 11 times to open the government. The Republicans have, with a couple of Democrats who are the same Democrats. And yet the Schumer team continues to put funding for illegal aliens. I think there's some of their requests are funding for LGBTQI programs in the Balkans. It is absolutely insane. But the president continues to be very focused on ensuring that we can make this as painless as possible as we work to get the government open. So just a couple of days ago, we made the announcement we're reopening all 2,100 of our Farm Service Agency offices in all of the counties around the country. This is how we distribute these commitments to our farmers in America. And these are commitments that were made earlier this year for farmers for disaster relief, for wildfire relief, et cetera, that we have to get out so that they can make their payments to continue planning for their next season, which begins pretty quickly. And we are on.
This is just out of control. Democrat Rep. Gregory Meeks gets called out for voting against Republicans' clean continuing resolution on CNN. Getting called out on CNN.
Act subsidies. As you know, House Republicans passed what they say is a clean, short-term funding bill, but most congressional Democrats refuse to support it. I know you want to address the Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. But why not vote to fund the government, at least for now, and then negotiate on the subsidies later while the government is open?
Well, clearly, the Republicans don't want to negotiate.
As you know, House Republicans passed what they say
you have to open the government so you can negotiate, moron. Oh, wow. Here is CNN confirming what we already suspected. Representative-elect Alicia Grijavala can't access the Capitol grounds because Speaker Johnson is refusing to swear her in. Well, you have to have the government open. Not even going to give her a time of day. Here is more. Let's go to this. Caitlin Collins and Speaker Johnson. Here we go.
She said, we heard from one of your members today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wrote this morning that on y'all's GOP conference call, she said Speaker Johnson said he has ideas and pages of policy, but did not say a single policy plan. She said, I find it unacceptable that Republicans are sitting on the sidelines doing nothing to fix this healthcare disaster that is leading many Americans into financial ruin. That's her words. She says you're sitting on the sidelines. What's your response to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Well, bless her heart. That's an absurd statement. Obviously, these conference calls are monitored by media, so we're not going to have actual strategy discussions on a line where you have hundreds of people listening in, because it would be reported on the front page. We have been working on this for a long time. We worked on it today. We've been working on it every day. Marjorie is not here in Washington. She's not on the committees of jurisdiction, and she's not involved in those specific discussions, but she will be soon because they'll be related to all the House Republicans. This was always going to be a discussion and a debate that was going to be held in bipartisan fashion, by the way, in the month of October and November. We know that the end of the year is the end of those COVID-era subsidies, and there's real reforms that have to be made if they're going to be extended. The Democrats knew that, the Republicans knew that, and it was always on the table for discussion. They have made that a red herring issue for now, again, because they wanted to show a fight against Trump. This is purely about Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in New York trying to avoid a challenge from a Marxist candidate in their next re-election cycles. 100%. That's why they're doing a 180-degree turn and doing exactly the opposite of what they did as recently as March of this year.
It's amazing how much power AOC has over Schumer. And then, of course, all those people who are suffering because of it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this is not just about politics anymore. It's really economic terrorism. When Katherine Clark says family suffering gives Democrats leverage, she revealed their true face. They're not public servants. They're hostage takers in suits. Think about it. 500,000 families missing paychecks, kids going hungry, mortgages going unpaid. Also, Democrats can fund health care for people who broke our laws to get here. Some of these illegals have rap sheets longer than a CVS receipt, but they get health care while your federal worker neighbor visits food banks. So here's my question. Should any member of Congress get paid while federal workers don't? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments, because this kind of corruption, it's what starts revolutions. And if you're as fired up as I am, check out our merch shop. There's a link below. Wear your resistance. This is Gary Franchi for the Next News Network.